Hello Vavers, you're watching YouTube channel USA News Alert. Breaking. Liberal judge suspended for anti-Trump antics. Another day another liberal judge has been exposed for incredible anti-Trump bias. The difference, in this case, is that his superior judges suspended him to try to wake the nation to the politicization of our courts. Both sides are guilty of making our courts more political over the decades, and we really need to stop and reverse this trend before we all lose faith in the third branch of government. From NBC, a Utah judge has been suspended for 6 months without pay after he made a series of critical statements about President Donald Trump online and in his courtroom over the past few years. The Utah Supreme Court filed its court ruling this past week on Judge Michael Kwan's actions. Kwan, who has served as a justice court judge in Taylorsville for 20 years, was cited for improper use of judicial authority and his inappropriate political commentary, the latter often involving President Trump. The court noted multiple times when Kwan had provided political comments that criticized Trump, as a presidential candidate in 2016 and as president on his Facebook page and in court. 3 days after the 2016 election, Kwan wrote on Facebook, "Think I'll go to the shelter to adopt a cat before the president-elect grabs them all," a reference to the Access Hollywood tape in which Trump was heard bragging about grabbing women's genitals without consent. Almost a month after Trump's inauguration, Kwan said welcome to the beginning of the fascist takeover and questioned whether congressional Republicans would be the American Reichstag, this time referring to the political body of Nazi Germany. Judge Kwan defended his online commentary by stating that he had a First Amendment right to share his views about elected officials' political and social stances, calling it constitutionally protected speech and describing his statements as social commentary or humor. In response, the ruling written by Utah Supreme Court Justice John Pierce dryly noted, "It is an immutable and universal rule that judges are not as funny as they think they are. If someone laughs at a judge's joke, there is a decent chance that the laughter was dictated by the courtroom's power dynamic and not by a genuine belief that the joke was funny." The inquiry also noted a pattern of behavior by Kwan, including a lewd statement about President Bill Clinton's sexual history and for his involvement with a politically biased nonprofit. Though Kwan continued to defend his use of speech, and said that his Facebook profile remained largely private, Judge Pierce and the Utah Supreme Court said the judicial office requires sacrifice. Fulfillment of judicial duties does not come without personal sacrifice of some opportunities and privileges available to the public at large, Pierce wrote. And as a person the public entrusts to decide issues with the utmost fairness, independence, and impartiality, a judge must at times set aside the power of his or her voice.